I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video. I'm going to share some stories that can help first-time home buyers buy their first home by hopefully learning from my clients' past experiences. So this is going to be the least expensive house that I've ever sold. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. So this is going to be my $97,000 house story. All right. So this client came to me and she wanted to buy a house. She was moving here from another state. She wasn't sure exactly what she was going to get qualified for. So I sent her to a lender. She also wanted to use down payment assistance. So I sent her to a lender that does one of our really popular down payment assistance programs. And so she got pre-qualified. When she came back with the pre-qualification, however, it was only for $95,000. Now, this is in 2019. She closed in August 2019, so before the pandemic, okay? So things weren't super crazy. However, finding a $95,000 move-in ready home at the time seemed pretty impossible. So we did have a few homes that were in that range, but they all needed work. And if she was doing an FHA loan. And if you're doing an FHA loan, then the house has to be in pretty good condition. It has to be pretty much move-in ready or close to move-in ready, besides like cosmetic things. And she didn't have a lot of money for like rehab and that sort of thing. She wasn't doing a 203K. So she was a little bit apprehensive as to whether or not I was going to work with her. But at the time, I was like, let's give it a try, right? We'll try to find something. And so I started working with her, and we saw some HUD homes that might have been in that range. We saw some, maybe 2 or 3, but we weren't going out every day. We were just kept on looking to see if something was going to be listed in that price range. And lo and behold, a house for $97,000 came on the market. I'm not going to show her exact house, but it looked kind of like this. It was a townhome, but it wasn't connected by a wall. It was connected by like a storage shed. It did have a 2-car garage, but this was the closest that I can get to it. So where you can see it's still connected, but it, kind of stands by itself. So it's a house like that. It came back on the market. And I want to go through some of the lessons that you may be able to learn from this experience, okay? So number 1, now this house came back on the market. So if you're not, looking for a house right now, you may not be aware of this, but sometimes things will come off the market and come back on the market. The main 2 reasons that something may come back on the market is because the buyer's financing fell through, so they weren't able to get financed, right? Or something happened with the inspection and they terminated. So something during like the due diligence period caused that buyer to terminate, or they got close to closing and maybe didn't get approved. So this house came back on the market. So the first lesson I want you guys to learn is when offers fall through and it's a house that, rarely comes on the market, you have to move quickly. You need to see, I called her, I think she was at work, and I said, we have to see this house today. So you have to move quickly. And then I also, as an agent, called very quickly to build rapport with that agent. I said, hey, I see this house came back on the market. The thing about this house, it was move-in ready. It had new carpet, new paint. It was an older lady that was retiring and moving, I think, with her family, but she kept this home in really, really good condition, okay? Very good condition. So, we were seeing HUD homes and other homes. So this was something we could not pass up. So I'm calling the agent. I'm not texting. I'm not emailing. I'm calling to try to build rapport. So she's going to remember me. She's going to remember my client. Oh, what happened to and we're going to ask what happened to the first, with the first offer, the first contract. Why did it fall through? And she was more than likely, the listing agent will tell you. So she said, I can't believe it. Their financing fell through. I can't believe it. Now, if you can't, get financed for this, I don't know what happened, but I was like, my client has excellent financing. I'll have the lender call you. She really loves this home. We really want to buy it. So that's number 1. move quickly because again, if you're in a position where there are not a lot of these homes in your price range, you can't afford to pass it up, and you can't afford to just send a text or send an email. You really want to make some connection with that other agent, or your agent needs to make a connection with that other agent. All right, let me go to the next one. Don't ask for any extras. Mind you, this is a $97,000 house, okay? Now, and I said this, my client qualified for $95,000. So I had to call the lender and say, hey, I need you to, up her qualification to 97. And so I was able to get that done. I guess she moved some numbers around, did something, and she qualified for the 97,000. But again, I'm not coming in asking for anything. I don't want a home warranty. You can get that on your own. When I was dealing with first-time home buyers, if I couldn't get the seller to give a home warranty, then I would give them a home warranty myself. So I didn't ask for anything. I said, we'll pay the exact price, right? We didn't ask for any closing costs because she was using down payment assistance as well. And our program in Georgia just requires you to put up $1,000. So $1,000 of your own money, and they pretty much cover the down payment. So we didn't ask for anything extra in that contract. Number 3, still do an inspection. Even though you're rushing, you really want the house, you still want to make sure you do an inspection. And you just want to do it quickly, like have the inspector out the next day or as soon as your offer gets accepted. So we saw it that day. We submitted the offer that day. She accepted it the next day. And I pretty much, gave my word that we were going to close. We were going to close on time. You can count on me, that kind of thing. So we did an inspection. The inspection came with very little issues. We didn't ask for anything. We weren't nitpicking anything. Again, this is a $97,000 move-in ready house. All right, number 4, keep all IRS receipts. And this is not specific to this home in general, but I wanted to bring this up. I've said in my videos before, there are 2 things that I've had stop closings at the last minute: the IRS and child support, okay? Because those things don't come up on your credit report, but they come up on other reports when you go through underwriting. So in this case, this client owed about $300. So it wasn't a lot of money to the IRS. They had paid it, but they didn't have a receipt showing payment, and it was still coming up on the report. So literally the day before closing, the lender said, hey, we need proof that you paid it. She didn't have her receipt. She took off work, went to go sit at the Atlanta IRS office until, they called her and they were able to print her out a receipt so she can close the next day. So you really want to make sure if you have, if you've ever made a payment to the IRS or, you're on a payment plan, keep all of your documentation because that could hold up your closing. Definitely also, if you're using down payment assistance of any type, you want to make sure that you have all of your paperwork. And then lastly, know your down payment assistance rules. So this down payment assistance program, y'all are going to freak out when y'all hear this. So this down payment assistance program that she qualified for gave you $15,000 toward your down payment and closing costs. You only had to give $1,000 or put in $1,000 of your own money. And it was fully forgiven after 5 years. So you get $15,000. $1,000 of your own money, and then it's fully forgiven after 5 years. So she is getting in, this is year 4 for her. So August 2023 would be year 4 of her owning this house. So she only has to own it for 1 more year, and she can do whatever she wants to with this house. Now, if she was to sell it or refinance it before the 5 years is up, then she would probably owe a portion of it. Like they would forgive $3,000 a year until the 5 years. And they do that to stop, investors from taking advantage of the opportunity. But, that's one of the things you have to be mindful of. If she did sell it or rent it or do something with that house, then she may owe that money back. But after 5 years, the entire $15,000 is fully forgiven. And guess what that house is worth today? It's worth about $225,000, and she may only owe like $80,000 or less on it at this point. So probably even less than that. So I wanted to share that story. I want to give some lessons so you'll know when you if you have an opportunity, where a house is really priced right, you may need to move on it in any market, right? So if you have any questions, if you like this format, let me know. If you have any questions about this story, let me know. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.